Welcome to Lumoria, a realm where magic is biology, dragons are not pets but judges, and the world itself is starting to fail. If you like romantasy that actually commits to world building and slow burn tension that builds through proximity and training, this visual guide of elemental awakening is for you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the world, the elemental clans, the magic system, dragon bonding, and the main cast. I will describe the vibes and lore, but avoid plot spoilers. By the end, you should know exactly whether elemental awakening is your next obsession. Buckle up. Lumoria has had peace, technically, but it's the kind of peace that feels like someone holding their breath. Because the protection that keeps the worst darkness out isn't a political treaty. It's a magical infrastructure. Ancient wards tied to the existence and vitality of dragons. And for decades, something has been wrong. Dragon eggs are not hatching. And in this world, that's an apocalypse countdown. When dragons fade, the wards weaken. When the wards weaken, the borders stop being borders. And once the cracks form, something starts pressing on the other side. So even before you meet a single character, the setting gives you a pressure cooker. A society built around elemental order and a supernatural system that's quietly decaying. Lumoria is divided into 4 main bloodlines, each aligned to an element: earth, water, air, fire. The important part is the law of the body. Magic follows dominance, meaning in almost all cases, you get one element. The strongest thread in your blood wins. That's it. And each clan's region reflects its element, not just aesthetically, but culturally. Orlin, the Earth clan, sits in the central heartland. Rolling valleys, fertile soil, pastoral villages. Earth magic here is practical, nurturing, rooted. These people feed the continent. Sevrin, the Water clan, lives along the western coast. Healers, seers, tide-linked traditions. Their magic leans into memory, patience, and the slow certainty of water wearing stone down. Caclir, the Air clan, holds the southeastern mountains, wind-scoured peaks, sheer cliffs, reclusive lore keepers and scholars. And Volcaris, the Fire clan, dominates the east with volcanic highlands, lava flows, and heavily warded military outposts. Fire culture is discipline, intensity, control. They are the shield. Between fire and air, there's a buffer zone known as the Unmarked, a neutral territory that feels like a scar on the map, a space that exists because history demanded it. This matters because the clans don't just disagree politically, they disagree spiritually. Their elements shape their worldview. Let's have a look at Lumorian magic. There are lesser magics, which are common, functional, domestic. A farmer might sense vibrations in soil, loosen earth for planting, lift small stones. Magic is daily life. Then there's greater magic, a raw elemental force, usually reserved for trained elites and warriors. It comes with a cost. Use too much, too fast, and the body pushes back. Exhaustion, nausea, nosebleeds, burnout. Earth warriors can turn skin to stone, throw shockwaves through ground. Fire can become inferno-level destructive force. Air can lift and break physics. Water can do far more than heal. But the best part is the rule beneath the rule. You don't master an element by muscling it. You master it by matching its psychology. Earth requires steadiness. You don't yank it, you become foundation. Water demands flow. Grip too hard, you lose it. Guide it, and it becomes relentless. Air responds to trust. The more you cling, the heavier you become. Fire is hunger and emotion. The power is there instantly, but the discipline is everything. Or it eats you. So the magic system is also a character system. Because if emotion drives power, then romance and war are not separate storylines. They're the same lever. In Lumoria, dragons are ancient, intelligent beings with their own culture and language. A warrior does not choose a dragon chooses a warrior. The bond amplifies elemental magic to catastrophic levels, and it leaves a mark. Glowing, intricate tattoos that manifest across the rider's back after the bond seals. But the ritual is what tells you the tone of this world. At a jagged cliff called Velkar's Descent, prospective riders perform the Trust Fall. They step off into open air, no self-saving magic allowed. They fall into the void and trust that a dragon will catch them. So dragon bonding is a psychological test. Absolute surrender, absolute faith, or you die. Let's dive deeper into the main conflict. 500 years ago, Leoria faced the Shadow Wars. A corrupting, forbidden power tore across the land until the elemental clans and dragons pushed it back and sealed it away behind wards. In the Forsaken Lands, near Obsidian's fortress. Now the wards are weakening, and the shadow forces aren't random monsters anymore. They raid with intent. They probe defenses. You'll hear about horrors like the Fellborn, twisted humanoid shadows with obsidian claws, unnatural silence, and the Gorganthi, towering behemoths built from stone and darkness, with void eyes that hold trapped souls. This makes every political tension inside Lumoria feel more dangerous, because the outside pressure is escalating. We discussed that one can only wield one element, but the prophecy speaks of a spirit born of all, rising when wards weaken and clans divide. And that's the central premise engine of elemental awakening. Because the very existence of a spirit born threatens power structures, traditions, and the clan identities that define society. When your world is built on bloodline purity and elemental dominance, a person who breaks that rule is either salvation or heresy. Maybe both. Before I dive deeper into that, let's recap the locations real quick. Leoria, an Earth Clan village energy. Agrarian, rooted, quiet before it's not quiet. Volcaris, Fire Clan territory. Volcanic, militarized, warded outposts. Harsh discipline, harsher expectations. Sevrin's coast, Water Clan energy. Healing, tides, old knowledge, patience. Caclir's mountains, Air Clan high places. Archives, lore keepers, scholars, emotional distance. The Unmarked, neutral buffer zone that feels like a narrative warning sign. Velkar's Descent, the Trust Fall Cliff, the place where courage is measured in gravity. Mithrin Valley, mist-hidden home of guardian dragons. Obsidian's fortress, the sealed-away scar where shadow still waits. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go through the cast briefly, keeping it spoiler light. Amara Thalor, raised in the Earth Clan world, a survivor energy, stubborn, resilient. She's the human lens into the world because she begins grounded, then gets forced into the brutal reality of war and politics. She carries guilt, grief, and the impossible weight of power. Thane Caelum, Fire Clan warlord, controlled, disciplined, duty first. The kind of character who doesn't feel less, He just refuses to leak emotion because emotion is literally fire. Valen Thorn, air-aligned archivist and scholar, mentor energy. He anchors history, philosophy, and the deeper rules behind magic. Lyra Dernhart, Amara's best friend, fierce loyalty, practical grounding, a needed pulse of humanity. Twin daggers, prove it in the field energy. Then Thane's inner circle, known as the Phoenix Ring. Garrick Caelum, boisterous brother-in-arms with charm masking loyalty. Jarek Caelum, composed, disciplined, pragmatic. Rianne Morn, water-aligned fourth in command, quiet observer, lethal patience. And on the political foil side, Lady Evelyn Hale, an ambitious, noble presence from Greythorn Keep, cold calculation, a pressure point for court dynamics and status games. The reason this cast works for Romantasy is that it builds a triangle of tension: war structure, emotional volatility, and social politics. If you're here for slow burn, here's the clean, low spoiler pitch. The romance is built on opposites that are functional, not cosmetic. Amara is raw power and survival instinct. Thane is restraint, discipline, and control. And because magic is tied to emotion, attraction is a dangerous thing. Training becomes forced proximity with stakes. Every critique, every blocked strike, every breath too close is a risk. Because if she loses emotional control, her power reacts. The story also plays with familiar Romantasy scaffolding like grumpy sunshine energy and high-intensity training arcs. But the world building makes it feel earned. And in a world where dragons demand surrender, the romance mirrors the theme: control versus surrender, and strength versus vulnerability. So let me recap what to expect from Elemental Awakening. Immersive, clan-based world building. A magic system with clean rules and real costs. Dragons that feel ancient and terrifying. A looming external threat that forces internal conflict. Slow burn tension that builds through training, duty, and emotional restraint. That's your spoiler-light visual guide to Lumoria. The clans, the magic, the dragons, the shadow threat, and the character dynamics that power the slow burn. Thanks for watching. If this helped, bless your algorithm with a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. And last, congratulations to my friend Bobby for this amazing debut. Looking forward to the next installment.